It's our understanding that the two of you were here during the time of the shooting.
Fame, OC, Crystal.
You don't know that all that's connected, though.
Nothing ever works out for us, Juke.
You loyal to your family. I'm loyal to mine.
Marvin talked to me about replacing you.
Kanan, star. Welcome, my brother.
Plot thickens.
So the plot does thicken, indeed, and episode 9's trailer really does look insane. We've got 2 episodes left and things are only about to get crazier with a few more deaths and twists. More so now that Snaps and Pop are involved, which they always were. They were actually the heavy hitters who were really in control over the chessboard. But as we saw Raq and Marvin making their move with Quan, expect Unique to retaliate, which I do think could potentially be by hitting her Chinese restaurants. But you guys have also heard me mention before, the gap between Unique and Kanan over the years of raising Kanan has started to slowly close, and we were approaching the moment where I could sense they were about to meet. The common party between them is Snaps and Pop, and they may actually be twisting Kanan even more. However, this is also the same person who also robbed him, the same person who killed OC. Snaps and Pop were the one behind Famous's death, and also somewhat responsible for Crystal's disappearance. So, Kanan definitely needs to watch the company that he keeps, so to speak. We've also got Lamar Jackson's character's appearance, E-Tone. In terms of Marvin, the fallout from his mistakes will certainly continue. And we've also got law enforcement on the hunt in a few different murder cases. There definitely is a lot to unpack from this trailer for episode 9 with various different plots and storylines. So, as always, we're going to be running through all the scenes, clues, a few extra scenes that I do think may also match up to episode 409. But let's start with the episode title and synopsis. Now the title of episode 9 is It's About That Time, and the synopsis reads, Kanan, suspicious of Raq's involvement, investigates Crystal's disappearance. Raq faces the fallout from Unique's retaliation and Marvin's mistake. Jukebox revisits her past and Lou embraces his new path.
It's our understanding that the two of you were here during the time of the shooting.
Now the aftermath of everything that happened with the robbery that went wrong, it's about to get really messy. We know Lou Thomas is officially back. The redemption arc is well and truly on, which is something I thought would happen post season 3. His character definitely deserved it. And you guys know from Power, you can run from the streets, but you certainly can't hide. Now killing Kenyatta and Julius at the end of 408 has brought these 2 law enforcement officers over to the studio. In the studio, we've also got a very worried looking B-Rilla and also Imani Okoye. We're going to come to her in just a moment. But the law enforcement officers were here to ask questions because Lou and B-Rilla were here around the same time as the shooting. Back then, there wasn't much CCTV or anything like that. Look at Garcia. He's looking at this warehouse situation from the complete wrong lens.
Back to your original question. You a fucking clown.
So you've got these 2 law enforcement officers here with a very worried looking B-Rilla. Lou will no doubt be able to hold it down and play them with a straight bat. And I'm also sure B-Rilla won't want to return to wearing an orange jumpsuit anytime soon. However, you do have to wonder whether Imani Okoye will begin to question Lou again. She was pushing and probing Lou in episode 408 about what does he get up to at night. Does he have a second job? And she really was being quite persistent. Considering she's in the room when the cops are asking questions, I have no doubt she's going to be following up on it and questioning Lou. I just wonder if she does turn out to be a confidential informant. What lengths is Lou willing to go to? We definitely haven't heard the last of this one, that's for sure. Law enforcement have been relatively quiet for the large portion of season 4, but it certainly is time to ramp things up from their aspect. So, sticking with law enforcement, we've also got Garcia coming to see Duke. He's going to be a real pest, a rodent. He ain't going to be going anywhere until he gets the answers he's looking for, even if his theory and investigation is completely wrong. Whether he's able to get anything from Duke or strong-arm her into giving him any kind of information, I highly doubt it. Jukebox is a no snitch, she knows the game and she knows how it works, but I wouldn't be surprised if she did feed him the wrong information. One thing's for sure, Garcia is hellbent on making someone pay, and at this moment in time, he's looking in Unique's direction. Whether he's able to make his investigation and theory stick, that's a different question. Let's see if Garcia and law enforcement are able to pick up any kind of win come the end of season 4, whether it's with this case here or with this one. But let's move on to Kanan and him questioning all these murders.
Fame, OC, Crystal.
You don't know that all that's connected, though.
Nothing ever works out for us, Juke.
Now in the trailer we have Kanan in conversation with Duke, saying something just doesn't add up. First Fame, OC, and now Crystal's disappearance. On Crystal, he did tell her to leave New York, but he's probably realized that she didn't reach where she was going because he hasn't heard from her. I'm sure he's thinking if Crystal made it to wherever she was going, at least she'd give Kanan the heads up or let him know that she's safe. So these situations around Fame, OC and Crystal, nothing's making sense for Kanan at this moment. Are they connected? Is the same person behind it? Who's messing with Kanan's circle? Nothing is making sense. Of course for us, we're seeing the entire chessboard, but if we were to genuinely put ourselves in Kanan's shoes just for a moment, just imagine the confusion he's feeling. Imagine what he's going through in terms of the lies and manipulation from Raq. You genuinely wouldn't blame him for thinking that she had something to do with 1, 2, or maybe all 3. Now Duke does tell Kanan, we don't know that they're all connected, and she is right, they're not. OC was actually killed by Unique, Famous was killed by the 2 dirty officers on the orders of Snaps and Pop, and they're also the ones who kidnapped Crystal, so I guess those 2 are kind of connected. We've also got him telling Duke nothing ever works out for them, and he's going to be on a real mission in episode 409. I think he's going to be on the hunt for answers. He's definitely going to be on the hunt for Crystal, and that's what this scene may potentially be about. We've got him punching and kicking a janitor, and no doubt, he's going to be causing a lot of chaos on his way to the truth, or maybe even more lies. We're going to get to that in just a moment. But in terms of Crystal, she's actually being held hostage. She's been put in a really dark room, where you can also see she is also handcuffed. Different to the situation with Fame, he was tortured and then killed, but I don't think Pickett and Wiley will make the same mistake here, because they really did cause a mess with the Famous situation. Now I really do feel sorry for Crystal. She's someone who over the course of season 4 has given Kanan a lot of good advice. She even came to see Raq and told her what she needed to hear, so she really has been a real one. So I really do hope Crystal doesn't die in this situation. Not everybody in the world of power does have to die, and we have seen people such as Symphony make it out of New York, so there is some kind of hope that Crystal can survive and leave. But at this moment in time, it really is looking grim. In terms of the blurred figure that's come to see her, I think it may actually be Pop, maybe to find out what she knows and what Kanan's thinking. Snaps and Pop asked Kanan back in 408, what does he think? At the time, he said he didn't know, which is when the dog barked because he knew he was lying. So, if Crystal does tell Pop Kanan believes it's Raq, it's information they can certainly use, because they can send him even further down Raq's direction and push Kanan to teaming up with Unique. But let's see how it all unfolds for Crystal. It definitely is looking grim, but I really do hope she is able to survive and make it out of New York.
Kanan fucking Star. Welcome, my brother.
Now, in terms of the person who is actually behind some of Kanan's questions, he's going to come face to face with him in 409. The Unique and Kanan meeting is finally here. Over the seasons, they've had no reason to meet, because Kanan was nowhere near the drug game in terms of where Unique was. They did see each other a few times across seasons 1 and 2, but over the seasons the gap has started to slowly close, and I wouldn't be surprised if this parlay was actually through Snaps and Pop. That's the common party between the 2. Now why he's here, who knows? Is he actually teaming up with Unique, the enemy of the Thomases? Because if he is, then you can only think that maybe Snaps and Pop have probably put the seed of doubt into his mind in terms of Raq being the one behind Famous's death, Raq being behind Crystal's disappearance. Snaps and Pop can easily manipulate Kanan into thinking Raq was behind it all, and maybe even start to cause a divide between him and Duke. I can see a scenario where Kanan thinks it's Raq, but where Duke doesn't. However, I do think Kanan will eventually have to learn the truth eventually. Probably not in season 4, but when he does, he's probably going to bring down everyone. Unique may think that he's got Raq's biggest weakness, but just like he turned on Ronnie, he can turn on Unique, he can turn on Snaps and Pop. So let's see where they take the story from here come the end of season 4, but it certainly will start causing a divide and more tension within the Thomases, that's for sure. Now in the background you can also see Lamar Jackson. He's said to actually be in only 1 episode for season 4, and the description they gave for his character when it was announced a few weeks back was that he's a deadly dangerous character, and you don't want to get on his bad side. So we've got him here with a gun in hand, and let's see what he's made of, what his role is in the grand scheme of things in terms of season 4, and whether we do see him return in season 5. But let's move on to all things Marvin, Raq, and Stefano.
You loyal to your family, I'm loyal to mine.
Marvin talked to me about replacing you.
Fuck this all up, Marvin.
Now with Rockhead Marvin, we've got her coming to see Marvin where she really doesn't look happy at all. She's shaking her head, and that's because Marvin's made a huge mistake. He lied to Raq earlier on in season 4, and then tried to fix things himself, but all he's done so far is make things worse. In fact, we are going to see him drop yet another body in episode 409. This is the guy who's going down next at the hands of Marvin. Who and why, that's the question. When we looked at this last week when we were running through all the teaser scenes remaining that we haven't seen, I raised the possibility of Amber calling Marvin for help, I'm sure they've not left this here by accident in terms of Marvin giving his phone number to Amber. I do fully expect her to call Marvin at some point. So maybe this is something to do with Amber, or maybe something else entirely. Either way, he just can't stop dropping bodies in season 4. And this Ellie Tyler situation is just a complete mess. He should have done what Raq said and taken out both Ellie Tyler and Londell, because now the entire situation is being complicated with Stefano stirring the pot.
Marvin talked to me about replacing you.
We know he's been after whoever was behind the hit on one of his guys in Howard Beach, and I wonder if he's figured out that Marvin was the one who gave the okay to Ellie Tyler. I did think Stefano was kind of sussing Marvin out back in 408 and seeing whether he was honest with him. In my breakdown for 408, I gave the example of Felipe Lobos questioning both Ghost and Tommy, and I really did get the feeling Stefano knew more than he was letting on in this conversation. Let's see. But he is going to be stirring the pot even more by telling Raq Marvin spoke to him about replacing her, which isn't how it went down. Stefano's the one who approached Marvin to replace Raq, where Marvin point blank refused. He stood his ground and stood up for Raq, and in my opinion, he should have really told Raq back in 407 when they had this conversation. The problem with this situation now is, it's exactly like the one with Kanan. Raq's dealing with so many lies and fuck-ups from Marvin in recent times. Will Stefano plant a seed of doubt into her mind? I don't think Raq would. The Thomas siblings are quite loyal to each other, despite some of the things that they've said and done behind each other's backs, and I really don't see them going to that level. Not for the Italians. These guys ain't loyal for shit, and nobody knows that better than Raq. So I really do hope and I do think Raq will see straight through Stefano's games. But she also knows Marvin has fucked up big time, and we do hear her telling him in the trailer for episode 409, he's messed up big, just when they were on the cusp of grabbing Queen's drug trade. He may even have to disappear for a while. Marvin may have to lay low and get out of Queens for a bit. That's why Raq may have to draft in Lou, the man to get shit done and get shit done right. It's about time Lou Thomas came back to the Thomas' organization. And with the turn in episode 408, with Marvin's continuous mistakes, I do think we are going to see Lou step up. So definitely looking forward to see Lou being back in, that's for sure. But that's a breakdown for the trailer for episode 9, a trailer that's actually shown us quite a bit, which does also tell me we're also in for a lot of surprises. But drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, especially in terms of what you think is the outcome for Crystal. This meeting between Unique and Kanan. Will he learn the truth in season 4? And how does Raq salvage all this mess around Marvin? Is she gonna draft in her original right hand man, Lou Thomas? Drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.